Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another weekly forecast slash breakdown. And before we get started, we usually go over the VIP results. However, this time, as you can see on the screen, we didn't take any trades, and I'm going to talk about that this week. It felt a bit weird, but to be honest, not taking any trades in the week just seems to be it can be normal for some people. They may not trade every single week, but for us, obviously, with depending on our strategy and the amount of volatility gold provides, we do tend to take at least one trade a week. But it just felt weird for me, especially being in like a VIP group and like sending out signals. It just feels weird not to like send out anything. But it felt quite refreshing just sitting back and just watching the market, because a lot of people tend to trade every single day. And obviously for us, we tend to trade, say, maybe 2 days out of the week, because those 2 days can provide quality setups. But yeah, just this week just felt a bit weird. To be honest, even me being aggressive, I still couldn't, even find a trade setup. It's just the way that the market was this week. And I'm going to show you on the charts. Let's have a quick look at them. If I put that full screen and we just make this full screen, what ended up happening was, from NFP, we were correct in terms of where price wanted to go up. Right, so initially from NFP, what we ended up having was a long position from here on this breakout, and then the SL was obviously below this low, and we were expecting for price to start taking out these highs. But what ended up happening on the open is that I didn't. I decided to close the trade before the weekend, because I don't like to swing trade. A lot of the time when I do swing trade the position, it ends up closing me at entry, or takes me out at stop loss sort of thing. So I still need to sort of work on my swing trading, but that seemed to be correct. As you can see from NFP here, we took out the lows here, and then we ended up getting a manipulation, I believe, on Friday. This was Thursday last week. There's Friday. This was NFP. Price tapped it, came back down and get a little. The market opened, took out that low, didn't take out where we were about to enter, I believe, which is right on this wick. So I think it was a bit higher. I think we were just about there. Price did come back to entry, but I think at this point I would have placed SL back at original position, which not 100 pips, surely not. It was running about there. It was running about at least 50 pip. So then this would have sort of kept us in this trade, and then we ended up going to targeted that high, this high, and then obviously that main high on the left there, and that would have been the sort of start of the week all done. But it was just this pump that ended up sort of taking us off guard here, catching us off guard, where price ended, pumped up to this high here, and we were looking for a potential reversal. We didn't get that. Price wanted to pump again, pumped up above this high here. And then obviously at this point, I was like, yeah, it's likely to get above this high. So now when price is up at this high, what we needed to look for was a potential sell position, because price is now taking out the most, the highest buy side liquidity that we have on the daily time frame. If I sort of escape on that, so I can switch time frames. Right there, so on the 4-hour time frame, price is now taking out that high, and it was just a straight clean pump on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. What usually happens is Thursday and Friday tends to be a reversal. I say this many times on my videos, that we look for an end of week reversal, right? Thursday, if Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is all bullish, right, and you need that retracement, you should get that on Thursday, Friday. It's not guaranteed, because Thursday could pump as well, and then Friday could be the drop. But what ended up happening is here, once price took that high out there, and then we ended up getting a push down here and a retest, this was your breaker block. And I'm not saying that this is hindsight and I didn't notice it. At the time of watching the market, when I woke up at London session, I saw that. I saw that it was a breaker block and price could go back down. But it was just the timing. It was just all off. On Thursday, Friday, we couldn't even get in on the setup here, because we were looking for a bearish move anyway for the week. But this breaker block occurred at just before London session. So London session, it was just in the breaker block. It was just consolidating here. So we could have sold here, stop loss above the high. Obviously, hindsight, we could have, but we didn't. But it was just London session. I don't like entering at the London session with gold, because sometimes what it tends to do is it could just fake down and then start pushing higher again, and then continue pushing up. My aim at this point was for price to sweep this low, right, and then push up here, and then continue its move higher. The reason being was obviously seeing us continue in this uptrending channel. We have now just retested a bullish area here, right? Price has dropped back down to retest, and now it's slowly climbing up. At this point, I was expecting price to like give us a little retracement to push back up again. So that's why on Thursday we didn't get into the sell move. So then obviously we missed the top of the move, even though we could have sold here, stop loss above here, and attempted it. But this is where you gotta, think about it and decide whether you want to either take the sell move or wait for the buy move. But then if the buy move doesn't work out, the sell's going to be the drop for the rest of the week, and that's exactly what happened. So then going into Friday, what ended up happening was we were expecting that retracement, right? Look for a retracement to continue down. Price didn't do that. It created a bear flag. Created a bear flag right here, where price basically just consolidated, and then started to fall out of this bear flag here and retested it just there at London session. That's when obviously price pushed up, faked at the highs, dropped down lower, held across this support resistance here, and again with this flag, it retested it, and then price just dropped. This was at the London session. So then we were like, right, okay, yeah, London session drop. Let's see if we can get a retracement for a New York session entry, as we normally have been doing for the past year. So we dragged this across. We got a 15-minute imbalance here. My main aim was for price to give us at least a good retracement, for them price to push down. And I'm sure I've seen a few other people have their sell limits at around about 66, I believe. Was it 66? Yeah, it was around here. But anyway, I was looking for a retracement here to then push down. We didn't get that. So with price pushing down from here, we then went aggressive and tried to see if price wanted to give us a pullback. Where was it? We went down to the 1 minute time frame, and we see that there's a fair value gap here where price could tap back into, but it was left as a gap, and price didn't come back into there. We were looking for price to obviously from here at this point push back into there to then drop, but look what price just did. Just drop, gave us a little pullback here, and then price continued dropping. Now this pullback here was this move right here, where you have a price sitting here, price pushed up, pushed back down, came back up to retest this area here, and that's when price moved down. But then at this point, your stop loss is, even if you entered here, your stop loss could be above here, but it's still like, it's just the stop loss is just way too big where price could possibly go. And it was just outside our timing anyway, because it was around about, say, 5 p.m. New York time, UK time, which is like 11, 12 p.m. New York time. So it was just one of those ones where we tried to be aggressive, and I wasn't gonna force it. Like even my wife was saying, like, "Are you forcing it?" Because I knew I wanted to get into this move. I knew it was gonna keep dropping, but if I forced it, sent the trade out to the VIPs, it would just be absolute shambles. We would have made a loss for the whole week of waiting, and then we would have had 0.5% on that week, and that would have been a loss week rather than a break-even week. So this week being a break-even, it doesn't matter. It's just always, as long as you don't lose money, the week's okay. So going into next week, that's going to be where we want to sort of capitalize on the moves, because we waited for this sort of move back down here. Obviously going into next week now, with this being the new weekly forecast here, I'm still going to be expecting a retracement to this area, that same 15-minute fair value gap that we were watching. I expect price to give us at least a retracement here to get in our sell position, this being our swing point, right? Because price failed to push higher here, I don't want price to push above here. If price push above here, then we're going back to bullish moves. Okay, so that is my sort of analysis there. We've got plenty of sell side right here that's just been stacked up, where price just pushed up and now it's coming back down to. Maybe you wanted to take out the high first and then take out the low to then move up. So these are my key areas, the range that we're trading in at the moment. If we look at the daily time frame, we are now within a daily fair value gap right here. I know we wanted to fill it on Friday, which we did. So that's your daily fair value gap. So you could see some bullish moves from here where price pushes up. So at the start of the week, what I'll be expecting, so I'm going to draw a little path for you guys so you understand. I'm going to be expecting for price to retrace back towards this initial drop on Friday here, give us a nice reversal pattern if possible, and then for price to push back down here and continue its move down. So at the start of the week, I'll be expecting bearish moves, And then what in terms of news, let's see if that changes our decision here. Building permits, interest rate decision, interesting. Fed press conference and GDP growth rate. So yeah, in terms of the interest rate decision, the FOMC, I believe. So we got FOMC, which will be on that evening. So that is where we could get a reversal, at least, or we could see price start attacking these lows, and the price could turn around. Looking at this move here, where price has pushed up from this weekly fair value gap here, it took out a previous high. This could all just be potential just retracement and consolidation before price goes up back to the all-time high. So if I mark this up right here, you can see that the 50% level of this pump that we had here was here. Obviously price then initially dropped down and then started charging back up to take out the high. Then we were potentially sort of falling back towards it, but we've still got these wicks that need to be taken out. So what I'd be confident in looking for next week is for price to give us that retracement, see if we can get into that sell and start attacking this green line. Once we do that, we then want to see what happens. Does price want to continue falling, or does then price want to start, giving us a little turnaround? Because if that's the case, then it's now time to sort of give us like that move, that impulsive move where price can just get out of here. It's taking out the liquidity, taking out the highs, taking out the lows. Now it's time to go. And then maybe now it's time to get back above 2800. So that's pretty much it from the weekly forecast. I'm looking at this and I'm seeing a potential for us to get into that bearish position. Maybe we couldn't do it last week. Maybe we can capitalize on it this week and the week coming. I'm expecting for the market to be a bit slower going towards Christmas. So just be careful, drop your risk. You may not get volatile moves, or you may just get one-sided moves. That's exactly what we got last week, where price just pumped and the price just dropped. It wasn't providing like nice retracements or any like sort of, opposite momentum in terms of if the market's selling, we got a nice bullish move for a retracement to then price to drop, because there may not be as many traders in the market, as many orders in the market where price can just move one-sided. That means it's just pure selling, rather than no buyers want to sort of counter on those orders. So that's why we're just getting these moves down and prices just bouncing off and just being very, very bearish. So that's pretty much what I'm looking for going into next week. This swing point is the key level. If price pushes above this swing point, I'd likely see potential where price could push back higher, where if we see that sort of thing, this, as you can see, we have a low, a lower low, and now we get a higher high here where price is broken over that becomes a breaker block, and this is where price can just sort of bounce off that and push higher. So that's one reason why I'm not entertaining this bullish move unless I see it. For now, I want to see what this 15-minute fair value gap does, and does it hold price down? Because it's also a 4-hour fair value gap. It's also a 1 hour. You got 1 hour fair value gap in there, so it's a decent gap, which I believe price could retest, and it's a potential order block, as you can see. Boom, where price just basically used it, so you can use this as a resistance level. So we've got plenty of confirmations. We've got a target which is still available. So yeah, that's why I'm looking for something like this, and hopefully we can get in a nice bearish move going into next week. That's pretty much it from the weekly forecast. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment if you want me to go over certain pairs, do some analysis, and just broaden my sort of spectrum on viewing the market. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's been OASFX. Peace out.